Hi YouTube, Ross Magash. This is not real life, and this episode of Konosuba can be described in 2 words: fan service. So it's also the show. I mean, the show at least is still kind of funny to me. I mentioned in the Grimgar review that I was kind of getting tired of that show, but at least Konosuba, I'm enjoying it. But even though that nothing's really happening because comedy is the focus of the show, not like plot development, so it's okay in that sense. But so we get to this place and nothing's really happening, and they're kind of setting it up, and Cosmo accidentally comes across 2 shifty looking guys in the city, and it turns out they're going to a special succubi club where you can request special dreams and they will come fulfill your ultimate fantasy for you, basically for a nominal fee of some of your life. I guess that's a fair exchange. I guess since they get so many clients, they don't need to kill you, so they can just keep kind of revitalizing their food source. But the art in this episode is actually really kind of shitty, considering this is a fan service episode. I mean, yeah, all the unnatural boob touching and boob physics and jiggling and, you know, gynaxing and all that, it was like that, they drew that well, but like all the faces were really kind of off proportion and like crudely drawn sometimes, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna do fan service, you should go all the way. And I understand, like, you know, maybe you're gonna save it for other things in the series, but fan service really depends on the art style, so I don't know what to tell you. But this episode, I mean, like, I guess, like, I understand that, like, yeah, that's the target demographic. It's us, dudes my age, maybe, you know, like 18 to 35. We're the demographic for this show. That's why all the characters are female, blah, 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 blah. I get it, okay? Like, I get it, you know, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man, really? We're not better than this? Apparently, we're not, so I don't know what to tell you. But either way, the humor in this episode ended up being a little bit on the lower side, because they spent so much time doing fan service to the fans. And, like, sure, a lot of the faces are actually pretty good, especially when Cosmo was signing out his form and the woman is just standing there, like, awkwardly touching her boob in a way that no woman will ever touch her boob unless she's trying to get your attention. And she is, like, you're failing at paying attention. If it has to get to that level, you're failing at paying attention. But that's never gonna happen, so don't even bother. And well, anyway, this show actually kind of pisses this episode actually kind of pissed me off a little bit when he was in the bathtub and he fell asleep and he assumed this was his dream and that kind of stuff, and it was like it gave him free license to become a complete asshole. And I know he's not the best guy to begin with, and yeah, he's some kind of shut-in, but, like, you know what? Being a good person doesn't depend on whether you go outside or not, okay? So, like, and of course Darkness is going to react the way she reacts because target demographic, the writers are going to write it this way. It's bullshit. I mean, she should have stormed off and left, and there wouldn't have been any plot to this episode, and he would have realized maybe he's just dreaming, or he would have made an even bigger ass of himself. It might have been even funnier. And ultimately, Aqua and Megumin, they end up catching the succubus who was supposed to give Kazuma his dream, but he hadn't actually, you know, been in his room at the right time, and he ends up pretending to be possessed, or he actually just doesn't pretend to be possessed. He actually just goes out of his way to save this person who is going to grant him his perverted fantasies for that sole reason. And he gets off scot-free on the pretext that, like, he's been controlled by a succubus, she's evil, he couldn't help himself, blah, blah, blah. Still free license to be a complete asshole, and I'm not okay with that. Like, it's not okay. It's just not. Cultural differences aside, I guess I can't say anything about that, but I'm pretty sure it's not okay there either. So I'm not sure where that goes. Either way, he escapes, and somehow seeing his junk flying around and that little hand towel didn't scare those girls. They still kicked his ass, which I guess in the end works out for everything. But I think he could have been punished a little bit more than just getting his ass beat physically. Not like, there was no magic explosion, there was no like, super god fist or anything like that. So overall, not the greatest episode, but you know what, it's anime, and sometimes we gotta accept these downfalls, or maybe we don't. I don't know if we have any ability to change it. So uh, this is review for Konosuba episode 9. Is it 9? Yeah. I'm Raj Magas, and I'll see you guys next time.